Many people have been coming on the post talking about, oh, why Moors beefing, why Moors beefing. Listen, don't come on my post with that. If I see people coming on my post talking about Moors are beefing when we're just having a conversation, and maybe it's a conversation that make you uncomfortable, I'm literally going to block you off my post. My page is a learning page. But it's not a page that you learn from in the way that you're used to. In other words, we may not be buddy buddy, chum chum, friend friend in the sense of what we have come to believe what friendship and brotherhood is. Not on my page. On all of my social medias, I'm going to tell the raw truth as I see it, with support of evidence, documentation, as people would call receipts. Now, if you are sugared up to the point where you cannot take me calling out the truth in the fraud, I mean, me speaking to the truth and calling out the fraud in real time, then my social media is not for you. It's just not for you. Go ahead and block me, unfriend me, and go do something else with your life. But don't come over here talking about, oh, Moors need to hug. Moors need to get along. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. Because in reality, the Moors that need to get along are getting along. Now, the Moors that have a conversation where there seems to be some disconnect as it relates to information, that conversation got to be had. And ain't nobody going to stop that conversation. Whether it's with me, whether it's with me now, or it's with some Moors later on. That conversation has to be had, because the Moorish Science Temple of America as an organization, brick and mortar on the ground and idealistically, has not made a dent on the problems of our society. And the problem is not the organization per se. The problem is not the doctrine or the ideal. It's the people who express the doctrine. That's the problem. So they will be addressed. That's just what it is. They will be addressed. And listen, I'm not going to disrespect nobody. I'm not going to call nobody out their name. I'm not going to be downright gutter dirty like we have witnessed a lot of other people do. No, I'm going to call the truth for what it is. Now, before we get started, let me get on this real quick. In our Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the chapter, what chapter is this? Chapter 16. I think it's chapter 16, is it? I think it is. Let me make sure. Yeah, I think it's, no, it's 14. It's 14. It's 14. Chapter 14. And I'm going to read this to you real quick. And then I'm going to explain to everybody what this is, and we're going to get it moving. Now, in this chapter right here, John is going in. John is going in on the people who are robbing the people in the name of religion. John is calling out the bigwigs in the name of religion. Now, this is in our Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So when one has a voice, such as myself, now I don't say everybody should do this, but when one has a voice such as myself, and people are deceiving people in public, why should we try to hide in a closet to tell people about it? Or tell them about themselves? They know they're deceiving people in public. So why not we address it in public? Just as John did. Just as Jesus did when he went to that feast. So don't come on my page crying, boo-hooing, because we addressing issues in real time. It's not a fight. It's not a beef. It's not anything that you make it out to be. No, we are addressing the issues that has set the Moorish Science Temple of America idealistically before the public eyes back 100 years. But me and the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, affectionately known as the Noble Temples, desire the faithful Moors to come together and bring it back to the forefront so people can understand exactly what this is and the value of its teachings and the benefit of subscribing to it. So with that being said, John tells the people, so you have lived in sin, the poor cry in your streets. He tell these crooks, the poor cry in your streets, and you regard them not. Your neighbors, who are they? You have defrauded friends and foes alike. You worship Allah with voice and lip. Your hearts are far away and set on gold. Your priests have bound upon people burdens far too great to bear. They live at ease upon the hard-earned wages of the poor. That's Ra Saadi. Your lawyers, doctors, scribes are useless cumberers of the ground. They are but tumors on the body of the state. This is John going in. So don't hit me on my social media telling me what and not to do, what and not to say, and what and not to address. Just as our ancestor John addressed it, we will also address these things if time permit. But that's not the only thing that we're doing. We're actually teaching in real time too. It goes on to say, they toil not, neither do they spin, yet they consume the profits of your marts of trade. Your rulers are adulterers, extortioners, and thieves, regarding not the rights of any man. And robbers they ply their calling in the sacred hills. The holy temple you have sold to thieves. This is what happened in the Moorish Science Temple of America. The holy temple you have sold to thieves. Their dens are in the sacred places set apart for prayer. Hear, hear, you people of Jerusalem. In this sense, hear, hear, you Moorish Americans, you Moors. Reform, turn from your evil ways, or Allah will turn from you. And the heathen from afar will come, and what is left of all your honor, your fame will pass in one short hour. Now, let's get busy. I got that out the way. Why am I doing this thing about Ra Saadi? First of all, the reason why I'm doing this thing about Ra Saadi, because Ra Saadi can't seem, for some reason, he can't bring himself to stay out of my inbox. He inboxed me almost. He messaged me almost every day with some madness, some nonsense. Anytime I'm teaching something that don't even involve him, here he come on the post talking crazy. He did a live stream and disrespected my whole family a few years ago. I never responded to it because I didn't need to respond to it. But today, I think it's a very it's prime time for a good teaching moment right now. So today, I am going to let this be a teaching moment. You follow what I'm saying? So, one of the things for the people who are my friends and don't know anything about the Moorish Science Temple of America, if you know me, you know I'm dedicated to what I'm about, whether you understand the Moorish Science Temple of America or not. But people would ask me all the time, who gave me authority, who gave you the right to do what you're doing, as if God's word is monopolized by one individual or one group. I don't know where they get that from. But anyway, I would be harassed up and down, up and down, up and down and around. I was called a fraud. I was called every type of name you can imagine, just because I jumped out to the front and went to teach people in a way that no one else that I've come across have been teaching the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I'd like to teach the history aspect of the Moorish Science Temple of America, because in the history is where the lies are hidden. And if we can get to the lies, we can find out who's living in that lie today, so we can move better into tomorrow. Now, with that being said, we about to get busy. We about to get busy, family. We about to get busy. So, so the standing question has been on my page for the last few days, and I want you to be interactive with me. The standing question is, how did Kirkman Bey become a Grand Sheik? How did Kirkman Bey become a divine minister? And who signs Kirkman Bey charter or his minister papers? And I said, if we can get to that point, then maybe we can find out what the history looks like as it relates to leadership passed down, or building from the ground up with the Prophet blueprint. You know what I'm saying? I believe we need to build from the ground up from the Prophet blueprint. I don't believe that the Prophet intend to pass down the whole organization, but I do believe that the Sheikhood is passed down. But that's a story for another time. But with that being said, so the same question stands for Ra Saadi. If you have been under Ra Saadi, where is his foundation of his official credentials to be a Grand Sheik, a Supreme Grand Sheik, or anywhere? I'm not talking about a story. I'm not talking about Cook Bey put affairs on his head. I'm not talking about that he was with Miss Bey and then Mr. L. I'm not talking about a story. Where is his official documentation to put him in position to even question me? Because I got official documentation, whether you accept it from Belial or not. I have official documentation. Belial has documentation. So at the end of the day, the question is, where is his documentation? Where is his documentation to prove that he's a Sheik, a Adapt, and ultimately a Grand Sheik, in the same vein that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali created and founded for us? Let's start with this right here, family. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth. All right?
Okay, so y'all agree this year? I said, okay.
That's his story of how he became a leader. That's one of the story. Press 7 if you understand what he just said. He became a leader after a crack binge. Are you with me? That is one of the stories. His crackhead buddies said that you are the leader. And this is how, and you know what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to take a verse out the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America where it says your equal raise you up to sovereign power. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's trying to do. But I want you to understand that he says out of his mouth that he became a leader. In fact, I want to just show it for those who don't know what I'm talking about. Where our prophet teaches us that one that you're equal will raise you up to sovereign power. So he's trying to use that in the form of a crack story, to claim that's how he became a leader. I want you to follow that. Now that's number one. I want you to work with me. That's number one. That's story number one. Now we're going to get into number two. Now we're going to get into story number two. Now, you know, just like in Christianity, when Paul wanted to take over, what did he say? He looked in the clouds and then he said, Saul, why you kick at the pricks and why you prosecute me? Every time somebody want to get in leadership, I said it once and I said 1,000 times, they always blame it on some spook. But this time it was the crack god. The crack god told him to get right. Right? He told him to get right. And that's how he became a leader. That's number one. Now let's get into number two. All right? Now this is where it gets good. This is where it gets good. My bad. Let's get into number two. All right? Let's get into number two. Here we go. Now, before we can get deep into number two, I need to tell a story. I like to tell a story, and I want you to pay attention because this is how I like to teach it. I like to teach in a story way. So first of all, some of this might be repeat, whoever seen some of my presentations before, but if you haven't seen some of my presentations, even if you've seen it before, I always throw a twist in it. But it's only going to be a little bit repeat. Okay, so now, our standing question is, how did he become an Adapt Grand Sheik and a Supreme Grand Sheik? All right? Now, one of the reasons that these organizations call themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America do the things they do is because of this group right here. This group right here is the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, or Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. And when they begin to create this lineage concept, everybody thought that they needed to create a lineage concept. In other words, when Kirkman Bey hijacked what he thought was the movement in 1934, he traces himself back to 1929, when clearly 1929, he was not the Grand Sheik, he was not the Supreme Grand Sheik, he was not anything. You know what I'm saying? But he traces himself to 1929, when clearly we know that Emanuel was the Grand Sheik in 1929. And in fact, that's a story for another time, which I've told many times before. He just wasn't the Grand Sheik. But anyway, when they begin to pass on their leadership, Brother Kirkman Bey, F. Nelson Bey, J. Blakely Bey, Brother R. Lovell, and today Brother R. Jones Bey, everybody thought that they had to trace a lineage back to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because Kirkman Bey traced himself back to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but he really didn't. It's really just an illusion. He never traced himself back to Prophet Noble Drew Ali as an official officer of the temple. But he put himself in 1929 as if he was an official officer of the temple. He's never been official officer of the temple. I don't care how many keys they say was passed to him. I don't care how many events he went to with the Prophet. He was never, from what we know, from what research tells, he was never made an Adab Sheik officer trustee of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So him and his henchmen hijacked, and they was trying to hijack from 1929, even before then with Claude Green. But from 1929 forward, they've tried to hijack the movement. When Emanuel passed away, there you have it. Here you go. They come out to the forefront and poke their chests out as if they're the Moorish Science Temple of America. So in the same regard, I want you to pay close attention to this. Braswell Bey would do the same thing. But what Braswell Bey would do, see, Braswell Bey felt like he had to connect himself or tie his Campbell to somebody, because Braswell Bey come out of 957th Street, and R. Lovell consequently had 957th Street shut down, and he was shutting down a lot of temples during the time. If you don't know R. Lovell, I think they need to make a story about R. Lovell, because R. Lovell was a real fighter in the cause in which he believed in. Was his cause typically close to the cause of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? Not in my book, but I tell you what, he put up that fight. You know what I'm saying? He was going out shutting temples down, because he said he got the sole authority. And guess what? Most people was shook up R. Lovell. You can't take nothing from him. They was shook of him. Everybody was shook of him, and they was creating all these names to try to avoid. And this is why Ra Saadi is called MST of A 1928, because he felt, and he probably still feel, that Moorish Science Temple of America Inc. have the sole authority of the name Moorish Science Temple of America. And this is why I tell people all the time, we are the Moorish Science Temple of America, affectionately known. Don't confuse us and call us Noble Temples as an official name. No, we are the Moorish Science Temple of America. Not / Noble Temples, not _ Noble Temples, none of that. The Moorish Science Temple of America. But if you don't follow me, then rewind and think about what I'm saying. So Braswell Bey would in turn kind of call himself Grand Major Temple. But before he get to the Grand Major part, he would join with Belial, who my credentials come from. He would join with Belial, but he would join with Belial with P. Davis L. and bring Ra Saadi L. along. This is the problem with that. One of the things that they did that I disagreed with, and I expressed it many a times, is that they created a fake lineage. The lineage that they created was a fake lineage. In other words, to compete with the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, they created a fake lineage. And I'm going to show you what I mean about this fake lineage, family. You're going to learn tonight, family. You're going to learn tonight. Let me show you what I mean about this fake lineage. All right? So, in this lineage, you got Emanuel 1928, 1934. But then they got Moorish Ill 1934 to 1935. That's a flat out lie. He was not a Supreme Grand Sheik. He was never made a Supreme Grand Sheik. Ever, ever, ever. So what they trying to do is they trying to act like that he was a Supreme Grand Sheik. He was never a Supreme Grand Sheik. Never, ever, ever. And then they say Brother E. Walton Bey, 1935 for 36 was a Supreme Grand Sheik. Once again, they're lying again. He was never a Supreme Grand Sheik. Never, ever, ever. So the whole point of the matter is, hold up, this is supposed to be a holy and divine movement. If you inject a lie into the holy and divine, then you take the holy out of the divine. You follow what I'm saying? You take the holy out of the divine. You feel me? So at the end of the day, if you take the holy out of the divine, there has to be an alternative. Kirkman Bey wasn't there in 1929 appointed by the prophet or legitimately put in place by any system set aside by the prophet. A fake lineage is not how a divine movement is constructed. So there has to be an alternative. The only thing that survived the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the Sheikhood. And I'm going to leave that right there. This is not on YouTube yet. It'll be on YouTube soon as I finish. The only thing that survived the Prophet was the Sheikhood. The Prophet gave us the blueprint, and we are supposed to put it together from the model that the Prophet left us. That's it. That's all. From 1929 to 1928, we are supposed to put it together. That's it. That's all. You follow me? But these people, they wanted to be leaders. They wanted to be the type of people to be in charge, and they wanted to take this issue and deal with it as they wanted to deal with it and leave us behind. So you got these people making up these lineages. Let me get into it. So Harlan Bey was actually a chairman, and he was a sheik. Lewis Bey was actually a chairman, and he was a sheik. Baliel was a chairman, and he was a sheik. None of these brothers, with all due respect, was ever installed as Supreme Grand Sheiks. In the order that the Supreme Grand Council has never been broken. Yes, the Supreme Grand Council broke down in 1934 at the passing of Emeliel. That doesn't mean we can't reinstitute it and reinstall it, you know what I mean, properly by proper appointed sheiks and everything. So the sheikhood didn't go nowhere. Didn't go nowhere. And so when Braswell Bey would meet Baliel, he would bring P. Davis L with him, and he would bring Ra Saadi L with him. And in my book, they would manipulate him to create this line in order to try to reclaim the Secretary of State of the movement from the ink. I hope you're with me. Press 7 if you're with me. So they created this because the ink had a lineage. Hey, so we need one too. When in fact, Baliel was a sheik. All Baliel had to do was say, we putting together the sheik board, because he was in his house with his family and a few other faithful people since the time of the prophet. All he had to do was say, we putting together the sheik board and we be building the Supreme Grand Council. But the story was given that the Supreme Grand Councils and the Supreme Grand Sheik is a lineage that never broke. That was a lie. Now, with that being said, let's go to the next part. So I'm not going to get into the Braswell Bey and the Baliel demonstration, because I could do a whole demonstration on that, how Braswell Bey embezzled $10,000 and moved to, went to Africa, and one of the temples put him up on charges. He accused Baliel of being gay and all this old crazy stuff to try to sway people to come along with him as he was pulling away and didn't want to address the charges that was put up against him and all this and that. So I'm not going to get into that. But the lineage is the part, is what I'm talking about, is just not legit. It's just not legit. So here we are. So my position as a Moorish American is that we got to put it together if you're an authentic sheik. But now let's get back to Ra Saadi. Now the first time he says that him and his crackhead buddies got together and he was high, and he said he heard the voice said, get right. And so he got right, and here he is. Well, in this demonstration here, he also uses, this is number 2. He says that P. Davis L put them on. Now, first he said 88. This is number two. First he says 88 is when he gained his leadership. But now, in another rendition, this is number two, he puts out this letter with, it is said that this letter was falsified in the name of P. Davis L., but let's read it. Our brother P. Davis L., Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America and chairman of the Supreme Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America, do hereby issue a warrant of authority on this date, July 20th, 1993. Ain't that a coinkydink? July 20th. Okay, P. Davis L. was the one that came with Braswell Bey to join Bailey L. when they would discover him in his house. Bailey L. is is the only Moorish American that had no connection whatsoever to the Kirkman Bey faction, none whatsoever. His information extends directly from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, his grandparents, Emiliel, and straight like that. He has no connection to the ink whatsoever. Anything that Bailey L. would have connected to the ink, whether it be charms or anything like that, he adopted that later. He had no connection whatsoever to them. He had a straight connection to Prophet Noble Drew Ali through his family's connection. Now, let me go on down. The Moorish Science Temple of America, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and the truth of the great Prophet Ali in America, to anoint, appoint, and consecrate missionaries of the Prophet. It says, this warrant of authority gives Rael, talking about Ra Saadi, the power in the state of California to act as an official of the Moorish Science Temple of America through the guidance of the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Home Office at any time can revoke or suspend this charge. Now suspend this warrant of authority. Now, let's stop right there. Number one, his authority was for the state of California, and it was through P. Davis L., according to this. But now, listen, there's word is that this is even jacked up. Like, this is a forgery. That's what was said. I don't know how true it is, but it don't make a difference to me, because this is just another, this is P. Davis L. right here. This is just another number two of how he became in power, how he come into power. All right. Now, let's go on down and look at how he dashes out of power. Now, this one here is supposed to be from P. Davis L. also. You see that right there? Brother P. Davis L. there, Brother P. Davis L. right here. And this is supposed to how he is removed, or he removes himself from power. Let's go ahead and read it and see what it says. So we got two ways he got in, supposedly. I, P. Davis L., Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chairman of the Moorish Body, Supreme Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America, do hereby declare that I still, and who says this after a person is removed, that I still recognize Bro Rael as being a sole representative of the Moorish Science Temple of America in the state of California. And it was his choice to resign from the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America due to the issues that stood before him and myself and others on the Supreme Grand Council of the MST of A, as he was already an executive ruler. So this speaks, I mean, it reeks of a forgery. For number one, if you're leaving an organization, how you still gonna be a representative? Number two, how are you an executive ruler when an executive ruler is a member of the Supreme Grand Council? But mind you, these Moors didn't even know the function of the Supreme Grand Council at this time. I got letters to prove that. They didn't know the difference between the Supreme Grand Council and the Supreme Body, or the Grand Body. And they arguing in letters about that. So they don't even know the function of the Supreme Grand Council at this time. But it says he was already an executive ruler. We trust that our separation, his position doesn't harden, whereas we cannot come back together as a grand body. As for Jama Mora Bey, he now holds the same membership as the role he did when he brought him over with you. I, Supreme Grand Sheik, revoke his warrant of authority, as he didn't send. None of this stuff makes sense. This is like really uneducated manipulation right here, because you can see right through it. Now listen to it one more time. I, the Supreme Grand Sheik, revoke his warrant of authority. How do you revoke his warrant of authority, but he hold his same membership role as did before you brought him with you? Listen to what it says. I understand what he's trying to say, but it's just not spreading out right. He's trying to sound like the prophet, in fact. As he didn't send his warrant of authority, which we of the Grand Body gave him through you. Now, as I personally known you for over 16 years. And how our understanding got to this point, I really don't know. But all I have done is try to be the best sheik that I can be. And now that I am sickly, it's hope that we can remain brothers in faith. Anyway, am now feeling go hot and bring this letter to an end. I don't know what that means. Please don't allow your feelings towards Braswell Bey keep you at distance from us. I would like to hear from you still. All right. So this is the part where he was supposed to be turning in his papers, and boom, that's it. And now he's something else. Now, hold up. Let's get this guarded. It's about to get heat. It's about to get heated in here. So the first time, him and his crackhead buddies appointed him. The second time, supposedly, P. Davis L. appointed him, and then P. Davis L. revoked his warrant of authority, but still said he was a representative. How that worked, I'm not sure. Now, so what Ra Saadi would do, the next thing he would do is self-appoint himself. All right? This is the third, I guess, angle that he would take. He would create his own line. Remember we talked about that line of leaders? Right there from the ink, right there from Braswell Bey, from Belial. He would ultimately create his own line. You see that? Now, I did a presentation on Ra Saadi and made him take it down because I told him that he didn't know what he was talking about. He created his own line. Now, the funny thing about this line, family, the funny thing about this line here is that he goes from Emeliel to Moorish L. Moorish L actually jumped ship and moved with the ink. Then he goes to P. Davis L., who letter I just read, who supposedly gave W. Naeem Bey his leadership. And Naeem Bey will give Ra Saadi his leadership. But hold up. I thought we just read that P. Davis L. was at the forefront of putting Rael into leadership. Where does guy W. Naeem Bey come from? So he making up his own lineage too. Now, the saddest part about this is a post from 2015, right? Just 10 years ago. He's calling himself a Supreme Grand Sheik, right? Or Sheikh or whatever you want to call it. But he doesn't even know the position of the flags. Look how the flags are positioned. The way that the Prophet flew the flags is opposite of the way he got them. Opposite. I don't care what anybody say. I debate anybody on that any day of the week just because they seen the flags in the office and because they didn't understand why the flags was like that in the office. I debate anybody on that any day of the week, and then I show you with proof and some Prophet pictures how the flags are supposed to be. But these flags are backwards, and he's supposed to be a Supreme Grand Sheik. This is in 2015. But he brags about how many people that was under the Prophet taught him. This is what he brags about. I don't believe any of those wives' tales. Some people do, but I don't believe any of those wives' tales. They're just silly. It doesn't make sense. Now, let's get down. All right. Now, here is the next step. This is a letter to Ra Saadi from Braswell Bey. Let me downsize it. Those were the three amigos. We received your warrant of authority on Friday, September the 20th, 1996, that you voluntarily relinquished from Temple 2 in Oakland, California. On behalf of the Moorish Science Temple of America Supreme Grand Council, we accept your voluntary relinquishing and above warrant of authority as of this day. Moreover, let it be known that we are legally disconnecting ourselves from you as a representative vestryman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish National and Divine Movement of North America. Wish you well and love. So now that's the letter that should have been displayed when he says that he was put in power by P. Davis L. or whatever case may be. So we still looking for these credentials. Press 7 if we still looking for these credentials. I mean, we still looking for these credentials. We need the credentials. We need assigned credentials that some authority put him in place, or how he ascend to Supreme Grand Sheik. How does he ascend to Supreme Grand Sheik? All right, stay with me now. Stay with me now. I'm asking for these sevens because I want to make sure you're paying attention. I want to make sure you're paying attention. But this is how these crooks have been crooked with people for a long time in the Moorish Science Temple of America. They've been crooked. They've been playing people. They embezzlers. This guy been embezzling for over 40 years. Let me see. Yeah. Since the late 80s. Smoking crack with dudes' money. And nobody supposed to say nothing? Smoking crack with dudes' money. And then get the nerve to, and then got the gall to come on social media and cuss people out? Nah, bro, you should be as quiet as a mouse. Okay, let me get busy. Let me cook. Now, that was number 3. Listen, for all the new Moorish Americans coming in, this is what you should ask people. Listen, don't get caught up in my yelling. If I'm too loud, don't get caught up in my passion. You know what I mean? I'm passionate, but not in my passions, but don't you get caught up in my passion, if you understand what I'm saying. But these are the things that you need to ask these Moorish leaders. Who made them a Grand Sheik? Who made them a divine minister? And how did you ascend to be a Supreme Grand Sheik? How? Now, y'all ready for this? Here is Ra Saadi supposedly ministry papers. All right? Are y'all with me? Yeah. I got a little bear work with me named Moochie Bear. We get anything, we get any and everything. Listen, y'all ain't seen receipts like this. This is supposed to be Ra Saadi divine ministry papers, if you will. But let's examine them. Shall we? Shall we? It says Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Ra Saadi Sheikh. All right. October the 15th, 1980. Is that right? But look, let's go down real quick. The founder of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, grand body of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science at 3603 Indiana Avenue. There was no Moorish Science Temple of America at 3603 Indiana Avenue in 1980. Are y'all with me? There was no Moorish Science Temple of America. I know what he's trying to pull off. But this divine ministry paper is not accurate. Listen to what it's supposed to say. The founder of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science and the grand body of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science at, and that's supposed to be the address where it is currently at, not where it formerly was at in the 1920s. Then, where is the signature? Where is the signature? You see this? People will look at that. I got some papers like this. Mine got signatures on it. And mine don't say Moorish Holy Temple of Science either. Where is the signature? Where? Huh? I didn't make this up now. My profound research. My profound research can dig this stuff up. Where is his signature? That's the question. Not his signature, but whoever gave him this paper. We know how that. We know that's ISIS handwriting. Let's stop playing. We know that's ISIS handwriting. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next step. So he faked that out. Then he fakes out another document. He forges another document to try to legitimize himself. Are y'all with me? Here is the second one he forges to try to legitimize himself. Our authority, Moorish Science Temple of America, Religious Society Corporation, 1874, 1010-5905. The Prophet Noble Ali never, ever put anything out like this. But we're going to read it anyway because he got Saint email here. We know that's his way of talking. That's how he talk. That's how he talk. He created his own one of authority. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But don't act like this ain't the fact of the matter. And you are not connected to any sheikhood, to any sheik lineage. None. Saint Emiliel, Bro Will Morris L, Bro Perry Davis L, Bro Walid Abdul Naeem Bey, Bro Shaykh Ra Saadi L. He created this out of thin air. And nothing on it is legit. Nothing on it is legit. You follow me? Nothing on it is legit. But guess what? He got people following him. He got people following him. Listen to this. We derive our authority from the charter of the Moorish Science Temple of America and the great Quran of Mecca of Prophet Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning. He didn't add Prophet Muhammad in there, the truth of the great Prophet Ali in America, to use the noble Quran of Mecca, to use the noble Quran of Mecca. Hold up, family, hold up. Y'all think it's a game. Y'all think it's to use the holy Quran of Mecca. Let me blow this up some more for y'all. For y'all Moorish Americans that been deceived by this guy, y'all funny to me. You know what I mean? Because I thought we was more intelligent than this. You know what I mean? Look at this. The holy Quran of Mecca. Listen to this. It says, the truth of the great Prophet Ali in America to use the noble Quran of Mecca for the teaching and instruction of Moorish Americans. See, did he just taint what the Prophet Noble Ali instructed for us to do? All Moorish American, etc. To the truth about themselves and to uplift fallen humanity, to continue to appoint and consecrate missionaries of our. These people think they smarter than the Prophet. That's all it is. This is why they remix stuff. They think that they are smarter than the Prophet. You know what I mean? They think hey, somebody block Julian Powell. That's his last time. I'm going to block him real quick. Nah, I ain't going to block him. Julian Powell just playing. I thought he was trolling. Nah, he all right. He just playing. Nah, because this is a learning lesson, family. I want you to learn. Julian Powell, I want you to learn. This is a lesson. This is just not all jokes. So listen to this. So he says, listen to what he says in this document, in his warrant of authority. Warrant of authorities don't even look like this, mind you. But anyway, here you go. To appoint and consecrate missionary of our holy and divine prophet Ali, and to further establish a far more truthful translation of the faithfulness of Muhammad ibn Abdullah L. He then gave Muhammad L, who was divinely ordained prophet of Allah some 1400 years ago over in Arabia. Now, but this is a new era time now, and all Moorish Americans must come to know the truth about Islamism, and all those who come under this Moorish warrant of authority and divine obligated duty, bound and responsible for taking on all our Moorish Islamic practices, rites, names, issues, and customs that are I don't want to read this whole thing, but he made this all up. This is not a Moorish Science Temple of America's doctrine. It's not even, it's way off as it relates to how the Prophet set the movement up. It's super off. It's not even, it's like an exaggerated demonstration. I mean, it's like totally exaggerated. Like, this has nothing whatsoever to do with the Moorish Science Temple of America in the system that the Prophet gave us. Nothing. This has nothing to do with the Prophet system. And the reason why that's important, family, because our Prophet is a holy and divine prophet, and the system that he put together is a holy and divine system, and we should not change one jot nor tittle, as they talk about in the Bible. We should not change anything about the core of that. So the prophet gives us a warrant of authority. We know what the words on the warrant of authority say. He gives us a charter. We should know what the words on the charter say. He gives us divine ministry papers. We should know what the words on the divine ministry papers. He gives us a divine constitution and bylaw. We know what the words on them say, and we should not change them for nothing. I'm not talking about making adjustments to modify with the times as you express Islamism, but the core foundations should never, ever be changed. Never, ever. Ever, ever. You shouldn't be changing the Quran. You shouldn't be changing the divine constitution and bylaws. You shouldn't be changing the questionnaire. You shouldn't be changing ministry papers. None of that. But that's what he does. That's what he does. But we still haven't found out who appointed him yet. So all these people following Rael, go ahead, keep on following him. He got something for you. Keep on following. Now, let's go to the next step. The reason why it's so important that you ask your Grand Sheiks and your leaders about their credentials, because for one thing, it's going to show their legitimacy as it relates to understanding the doctrine of Islamism. See, you have to understand the doctrine of Islamism to teach the doctrine of Islamism. The doctrine of Islamism is a religious organization, a society, a corporation, a civic organization that is striving to unfold into a full-blown nation. In that arrangement, in that order. If you're not striving and putting pieces in place to unfold into a full-blown nation, just like America, just like Italy, just like Nigeria, just like Pakistan, if you are not under a leadership who are trying to influence people and put the pieces in place to go forward and move to a fully functioning organization to develop into a nation, then you may as well go back to the YMCA. And that's just the fact of the matter. You can't keep calling yourself a nation without a roadmap going towards the nation. Now, let's get busy. With that being said, my bro and all of these Moorish Science Temple of Americas out here that claim to be moving in the vein of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, these are words of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and you're going to understand this in a minute. When Prophet Noble Drew Ali says 3,000 Muslims of the Grand Temple and the West Side Temple are making ready to register every man and woman in order to take the lead in various candidates whom they have been instructed to vote for. The key word in this is instructed to vote for. Y'all feel me? Instructed to vote for. All right? That's called lobbying. That's called being politically active. Alderman Lewis B. Anderson, he's naming names. Honorable George W. Blackwell, Honorable Oscar DePriest, Honorable Robert H. Jackson, all working through the regular Republican organization of which the Honorable Daniel M. Jackson is our matchless leader. Even the prophet calls this politician our leader because they hold the agenda in their hand for the citizens of Chicago and the Moorish Science Temple of America. He said, Jackson is our matchless leader. All know the whole situation and have their own way and time to give the order to go. The Muslims will be ready. So the key part about this is that the prophet is participating in politics heavy. In this article, it talks about we can elect a congressman. He's promoting civic. This is civic activity right here. He's promoting civic involvement by the way of politics, right? Now, the way that 99.9% of these temples are set up, they are set up as 501c3 non-profits. Why is that so important? The reason why that is important, you follow me? The reason why that is important, because a 501c3, let me open this up for you, I'm sorry. 501c3 do not have the power to express themselves in politics as the Prophet Noble Drew Ali did. Now, let me go a step further. For those who are paying dues to the MST of A 1928, the name of the nonprofit owned by Ra Saadi is not even Moorish Science Temple of America on another level. It's called Only the Truth Matters Corporation. Press 7 L, you with me? Are y'all with me? It's called Only Truth Matters Corporation. You feel me? I don't know what Chris Glover Bates, this was for the United States of America in Chicago, not the Moorish government. Who said something about the Moorish government? So, at the end of the day, he's calling himself MST of A 1928, but his nonprofit is called Only Truth Matters. All right, I see y'all with me. Cool. So he's fleecing the people in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America. He's fleecing the people. He don't have, this is his, listen, let me spread it out for you, just in case, let me spread it out for you. He's the principal officer right there. Now, one would say, oh, okay, no, Grand Sheik, hold up, Talker Bay. Maybe he just has a nonprofit, and maybe that nonprofit is something next to the Moorish Science Temple of America. Well, that's why I do my research. Let's look at what he describes this nonprofit as. All right. Said organization. Now, number one, the corporation will have members. Number one, we're talking about the corporation I just read. Said organization is organized exclusively for charity. Let me break it down for y'all. It's exclusively for charity, for charitable, religious, educational, and scientific purposes, including for such purposes, the making distribution to organizations that qualify as exempt organization under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code or corresponding sections of any future federal tax code. The business activity for said organization is as follows. Interfaith organization that will advocate, support, and educate against racism, religious bias, and prison reform. No part of the net earnings of the organization shall inure to the benefit of or be distributed to its members or trustees, officers, or other private persons, except that the organization shall be authorized and empowered to pay reasonable compensation for services rendered and to make payments and distributions in furtherance of the purpose set in the purpose clause hereof. No substantial part of the activities of this organization shall be carrying on propaganda or otherwise attempting to influence legislation. And this organization shall not participate or intervene in, including publishing or distribution of statements, any political campaign on behalf of any candidate for public office. Ra Saadi could never be the Moorish Science Temple of America. He could never be the Moorish Science Temple of America. Because as I just showed you, one of the elements of the Moorish Science Temple of America is to participate freely and willfully and call names on those whom you support as a candidate that represents your cause. Are y'all with me? Did I move too fast? Did I move too fast? Huh? Make sure I didn't move too fast. All right, family. I need to get me I need to drop in a commercial break real quick. Get me some water. Are y'all with me so far? Y'all got 30, 40 more minutes? Do y'all got 30, 40 more minutes? Huh? Press 7 if y'all got 30 or 40 more minutes. So, I'm going to go 30, 40 more minutes. Probably 30 minutes. All right. So, listen, family. At the end of the day, I want to share this with you. Somebody said, please repeat that. Please repeat that. What you need me to repeat, my brother? So, listen, family. Let me share this with you real quick. The link I just put in the chat is a link to my book, More Don't Mean Black. Family, you can pre-order the book now. It will be ready in 2 or 3 weeks to be sent out. More don't mean black. You know, it's an argument that's been going on for quite some time, that more mean black, and all. I got tired of hearing that. And so I took a deep dive and did some research. And in that deep dive research, I chose to emphatically show, without a doubt or contradiction, that more don't mean black. You follow what I'm saying? That's what I decided to do. So at the end of the day, I put the link in there. Let me see if I can just get a screen capture real quick right here. Let me see if I can get a screen capture real quick. I want to drop it to you real quick. Here it is. So yeah, family, if you're interested in learning about the Moorish Science Temple of America, and one of the arguments that people put forward, that more mean black, it's been an ongoing argument for a long time. You can go to the website where I put the link in, and you can get this book. And then I got a demonstration that's going to be coming with the book. It's like a pamphlet, sneak peek into the new book revealing understanding the charter. The charter is a dynamic document within itself that I want to share the breakdown and how people come up with their stuff. Even some of the NOI stuff comes out of our charter. And so, family, the link I just dropped in there. Hope I get your support so we can do many more things like this. Now, let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's get to the next level. Let's see where we at. All right. Again, not true. You are misleading with misinformation. Yeah, do Glover want to call in? Let me see if I can invite him in. What misinformation is he talking about? Chris Glover Bey, what information I'm talking about? See if I can invite him in. Do you want to call in? Ask Glover, do he want to call in? I'm going to keep going. If he want to call in, he's welcome to call in. What am I misleading about? Did he say what I'm misleading about? Because I don't like when people say that I'm misleading, but they never say what. He says, not true, you're misleading, mismatching information. What am I misleading about? Tell me what I'm misleading about. Don't just say I'm misleading. You have to tell me so we can fix it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to waste more time with you. You're welcome to see me center stage on anything that I say. You ain't got to troll on a comment section. You are welcome to see me face to face. Hey, family, please let him know that he's welcome to see me face to face on these issues. Let him know that he's welcome to see me face to face. You don't have to troll a comment section, brother. Please, somebody let him know. I mean, I'm going to get started in one more second. But he need to know that he doesn't have to troll a comment section. He's welcome to come on the show. He's welcome to come on the show. You don't have to. This is the thing about me. You never have to troll a comment section. All you got to do is message me and say, I can prove you wrong. I'm ready to sit down and prove you wrong. Don't come with philosophical approach, because I'm showing receipts. You know what I'm saying? But I'll take your philosophy, but I'm showing receipts. But you're always welcome, and that goes to anybody. You're always welcome because our desire is to get it right. So if I'm wrong and you're right, then we're going to follow the way that you put down. But it got to be consistent with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But other than that, let's keep it moving, family. We cooking. I hope y'all think we cooking because we are. Now, let's get to this part right here. Let's get to this part right here. All right? What we talking about right here? What we talking about right here? Now we're going to move to the part where Sharif Anael Bey was a part of Ra Saadi's cult. All right? Now, most people don't know. What most people don't know is that the only reason that Sharif Anael Bey joined Jones Bay in the ink and cuddled up to Hopkins Bay is because Ra Saadi stole his fiancée and then kicked him out the cult. We're going to go over that in 1 second. We're going to go over that in 1 second. I mean, we're going to go over that in 1 second. Let me put the number in here, just in case the brother... Family, give me 1 second. I want to put the number in here. Let this brother call in. And he can't be... Don't be coming here disrespectful, because I'm going to hang right up on you. Let's put the number in here. Give me a second, family. Let's let somebody call in. Oh, here we go. Put the number in here so you can pop up on here. All right. Give me 1 second, family. Let's get him up in here. All right. Let's get him up in here. There get the number. You can call up in here when you get ready. And I stop what I'm doing. I want to hear where I'm wrong at. I mean, I want to hear where I'm wrong at. So hurry up and call in so I can finish this presentation. You know what I mean? And don't be long-winded. Don't be long-winded. Get straight to the point and show me where I'm wrong at. That's all I need to know. Get straight to the point. There's no need to be long-winded. Follow me? Because I want to get this presentation done. It's Saturday night, but people do want to rest up tonight. Let me get finished. All right. Now, here we go. So, Sharif Anael Bey, he only joined the ink because he was kicked out of the cult. Now let's read some of this information that's relative to that situation. And these are the words of Sharif Anael Bey. From 2000 to 2004, I, Bromati L, I is Sharif. Let me get my brother.
Call from
Julian Powell L.
Come on, Julian, man.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
It wasn't for
press
you, brother.
2.
Come on, Julian Powell. That wasn't for you, brother. What you got to say?
Oh, I know, but I got something I want to put out there on the air, though.
Come on.
It's wrong. One of the things we got to look at with the Herds Revised Statutes, I forget which section, but I think it's in the first section. It says that any group or any religious body, and I'm relating this to any ecclesiastical group of Moors who are two or more, can basically form their own grand body of Moors.
Bro, what do that got to do with forming a nonprofit in the state of Atlanta, brother?
I missed that part of the dialogue because
you got to go on.
Caught off, but this is the point though, and this is for future reference.
None of these people are under herds. You're wasting my time, my brother. None of these people are under herds. We're talking about nonprofits. None of these people are under herds. When you got one that's under herds, call me back. For real, brother.
Islam, Sheik.
Islam, brother.
Right.
I love you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Hey, family, I didn't want to cut him off. I just don't want to be all night. I didn't want to cut him off, but seriously, I didn't want to be all night because none of these people that we're talking about are under herds revised statute. None of them. None of these people are filed under herds. None of them. None of them. Ask me how I know. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, yeah, that's a different conversation. Shout out to my brother Rael, but that's a different conversation. None of them. These are all non-profits. You know what I mean? These are charitable organizations called the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, let's get busy. So, the I is Sharif. Bro, he said Bro Mahdi L, Bro Demetrius Atkins L, and Bro Michael Boner Bey were your top soldiers, expanding and extending on what you taught us, taking on your enemies, and essentially establishing the grand body. That's number 4. Who establishes the grand body now? Sharif Bey, Mati McCoy L. Love me some Mati McCoy L. That's my bro there. Demetrius Atkins Bey L. Bro Michael Boner Bey were your top soldiers, expanding and extending on what you taught us, taking on your enemies, and essentially establishing the grand body that you started after leaving Temple Number 1 under Braswell Bey. That connects. Remember, Braswell Bey said that you're out of here with the paperwork I showed? As you admitted personally that I and Bro Monty McCoy L were very first 2 members of your grand body. Family, press 7 if you hear that. That Sharif and Monty McCoy L was his first 2 members. However, he says in the video that they were smoking crack, and the crack junkies that was with him made him the leader, and that was his first. Come on now. Remember he said that now. This guy. Come on, that got the number right there, Chris Glover, babe. Let's go. You know what I mean? Any sidetracking, bro, I'm gonna have to delete the call, man, because we gotta get this moving, man. People want to get the information. All right? So now, here we go. Sharif claims that the Sheikh used the ministry funds to purchase prostitutes. From the time your last wife removed you from her home and you was residing in the Crackhead Hotel in Oakland, California, you was using the dues and ministry funds to purchase prostitutes. You told me and Bro Mati this with your own mouth. Even in Atlanta, you brazenly abandoned use of the compass, moving in the developmentally challenged sister who couldn't even pronounce your name right, simply for sexual purposes. You had no intentions of marrying her. Sis, okay, here we go. We got the call. Pause it. Let's pause it.
Call from.
Saladin Muhammad Bey.
To accept, press 1.
Peace, brother. How you doing, my brother?
Islam. This brother C. Glover Bey.
All right, brother. So where was I wrong at?
Huh?
No, you said I was wrong on some point. I want to hear the point where I was wrong.
Is this the Hawker Bay? Because it don't sound like it.
Now, it's the Hawker Bay all day, every day. Come on, brother. This is the number I gave you. Come on. We got to keep the show moving. This me. I might sound different on the phone.
There you go. Okay, yeah. That's what I was just making sure. Okay, Islam Mobile. First of all, you are taking. Let me go. Let me speak. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand when I say misleading. When I say misleading, I'm referring to you took an article that was for our members back in that time to
hold up. What article and what members are you speaking of, my brother? We need to bring us up to speed.
Oscar the priest, the aldermen, and all these individuals were already officials. They came over to the Moorish Science Temple of America, and the prophet had our members backing them because they were part of our movement. And by them being in Chicago's legislation branch, they can do things for us as a nation. We're a nation within a nation,
brother,
Mobile.
I literally said the same thing. I don't know what you're hearing. I didn't say the part. I didn't say the part that they was a part of the movement, because I don't believe they were. I believe that they were supporters of the movement, but that's here nor there. What I said is that the prophet supported them by name, and they were just the issues for the citizens and the Moors of Chicago. We're saying the same thing.
Okay, now. This is the other part that I said about the misleading, the mixing and matching. You took that article and you used that article to show you another article that the Supreme Grand Sheik, Dr. Ra Saadi has, with another organization that he has. He has founded multitude of organizations to uplift our nation.
Okay, what I'm saying is,
excuse me, let me finish. You utilized that article that you got, and you said that he is only able to do certain things. Right. But that organization is not the Moorish Science Temple of America 1928.
That's what I said.
It's a subsidiary of the Moorish Science Temple of America 1928.
Okay, so
it's a branch.
Okay, brother. Now, so here's the question. How is the MST of A 1928 filed? Where can we find it?
That's something that's not the question. That's not what we're sitting here debating about.
Listen to me. If
that's not what,
listen to me. Hear me, brother. I heard you. Now I need you to hear me real quick. If in fact the nonprofit called Only Truth Matters does not represent the constituents of the Moorish Science Temple of America and the MST of A 1928, then direct us to where we can find the filing for MST of A 1928 so we can observe it. Where can we find it?
Okay, listen.
Brother, no. I need you to just answer that question first, then we can move forward. If you can't answer that question, I'm going to hang up. I need to know where can we find the legal filing for MST of A 1928, and then we can move forward. You can say whatever you want.
Okay.
You can say whatever you want. I'm asking you. Hold up. I want you to hold up. Calm down and breathe for 1 second.
Okay.
Breathe for 1 second.
I said okay.
If you are telling me, listen to me. If you are telling me that that is not the representation of MST of A 1928 as the religious corporation designed, manifested by our prophet, I'm asking you, okay, that's fine. Now, show me where we can find the legal support for MST of A 1928. Where can we look for it?
Okay. I'm going to direct you to your Moorish literature, our authority. That article on the back of the questionnaire is his authority, Moor.
You see what I'm talking about? I'm not going to let that go over the airways, family. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let that go over the airways. He's going to direct us to the back of the pamphlet. He's going to say the back of the pamphlet is the legal authority? Everybody says that. I'm asking, where is your legal charter in the name of Ra Saadi? I'm going to try him one more time. If he don't answer, I'm going to hang up on him, because I don't got time to waste. That pseudo talk.
Call from
Shaykh Ra.
That pseudo talk.
Press 1 to send a voice.
Come on, brother.
Islam, Grand Sheik. This your brother Rael.
What's up, Asa? Hey, brother, we got to do a show together. I don't want to be long-winded on this, brother, but go ahead, real quick, brother. Go ahead. Let me get you these slides.
I just want to say this. I personally know Chris Glover, right? Rael dogged him out. Listen, he's outside of the basement temple. You hear me? He hoping Rael sees.
Sound like a scam coming.
And one more thing, Rael was never made a sheikh according to the Moorish Science Temple of America. We don't even have sheikhs.
Absolutely.
He was made what it was is Wali Naim Abdul Bey, the guy that he called his fourth Supreme Grand Sheik, was made a sheikh by the Arab guy that's on the back of his wall, right? He was made a sheikh by him. Wali Naim Abdul Bey wrote a letter, and I read it, stating that he did not want Rael to be his successor.
But
he overthrew
The whole
Yes,
thing
sir.
in a nutshell, none of that stuff lines up with our prophet is the point of this demonstration. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you destroyed his lineage, Grand Sheik. You literally destroyed his lineage.
none of this stuff line up. None of this stuff. He doesn't have any credentials. His credentials ain't legit. He doesn't have signatures on his credentials. He does. Like, say for instance, this Asaya. If I want to get to these slides real quick. Say for instance, right? My credentials come from David Baliel, right? People can
Yes,
say,
sir.
well, David Baliel is a fraud. David Baliel ain't this. David Baliel ain't that. They can say whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that we do know is that everything that Baliel came to the table with, he didn't get it from somebody else. He got it directly from Temple Number 1 by the way of his
You're right.
his family. You know what I'm saying? So,
You're right. Rael even agreed that you
Yeah,
write secretly. Rael told me
so at the end
that 80% of his information came from Baliel.
Yeah, so
that was what he told
So my
me.
whole thing is like, say people say like, well, I don't believe that you're a Grand Sheik Bey because you're not with Baliel. Well, the whole thing done crumbled down anyway. But I am a sheik and I am a trustee. So what do? We sit by and just don't let nothing happen, or do we rebuild it? We rebuild it.
Absolutely.
We
Grand Sheik.
rebuild it.
One more thing before I go. Just one more thing. Look. So he go say that he was made a Supreme Grand Sheik on that ceremony you see on YouTube. Isis Sadiel personally told me directly they did not know what they was doing. It was a surprise for him. He was getting ready to punch the guy on the other side of the door. They made it up. That's why you hear nothing but music. That's what she told me. They did not know how to make him a Supreme Grand Sheik. It was no definite, conclusive rituals, ceremony. They made it up. So he's not even a. I'm gone. Love you, bro.
I love you too, brother. Well, the whole thing in a nutshell, man. He's not an adapt. He's not a Grand Sheik. Appreciate you, brother. Rael is never an adapt. He's never been a Grand Sheik. He's never been officially appointed into anything. And like I said, you know what I mean? Say somebody don't like Baliel. Say somebody say, well, you wasn't with Baliel, and da-da-da. You can say all that all you want to. Guess what? I can still show you credentials. I can still show you. So the only thing I'm asking, we can get to the point of how I'm moving and the way that I'm moving. That's another conversation. But for right now, whose signature is on your papers is the question now. Whose signature is on Kirkman Bey papers? Whose signature is on the charter? That's the first thing that we got to solve. Then we can say, okay, how you get from the point where Baliel's signature is on something, now you leading a group of Moors. And that's a separate conversation. But my signature is not on my papers. That's the conversation that we're going to get out the way right now. For all of those who's asking about authority, I need to see your authority too. Whose signature is on Braswell Bay papers? Whose signature? Whose? I can show you whose signature's on mine. Anyway, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Now, Sharif Anael Bey says that he was the first two members, him and Mati McCoy L. And he says the man used ministry funds to get prostitutes. And I was in the middle of reading that where it says, you told me and Bro Mati this with your own mouth. Even in Atlanta, you brazenly abandoned use of the compass, moving in a developmentally challenged sister who couldn't even pronounce your name right, simply for sexual purposes. You had no intentions of marrying her. Sister Nina L., when your plans to relocate to Baltimore, Maryland were a catastrophic failure, your second option was to woo a sister in Bro Mati's temple. Temple number 5, sister named Sis Nina L., openly intending to live off the sister upon your arrival to Atlanta. Of course, the sister snapped out of the spell in a nick of time. And again, your plans was a disastrous failure. And you stated to me in a phone call on the matter. And this is the real reason you kicked out Brewington Bay. See, all of this stuff connects now. If you know Brewington Bey, he used to attack me for Braswell Bay. He used to come and say, what's your authority, da-da-da-da-da. All of these people was a part of these cults. All of them. That's the reason you kicked Brewington Bey out of the ministry, as he was one of the ones who, he was the one that counseled Sis Nina L. This is that creepy stuff in the Moorish Science Temple of America. And you wonder why there is no progress. Because everywhere you look, there's some foolishness going on, misinformation, ill behavior, as well as people don't even know the structure of the Moorish Science Temple of America. They should dedicate themselves to understanding the structure of the Moorish Science Temple of America before they start dedicating themselves to this foolishness. Listen to this. Bro, Matiel ended up flying you out of Atlanta and putting you up for 2 months in his own home. Huh? Sis ISIS, everybody knows this incident well. So not too much needs to be said. To restate a few facts, though, I brought her to the movement via Temple 5. We were courting. This is Sharif Bey. We were courting with the intent to marry. You, through me, got her to give you a check for $1,500, the ministry fund again. I ended the courtship. She complained about me ending the courtship to you, with Bro Madiel as my personal witness. And the very next day, you tell Bro Mati that Sis Isis stayed overnight and that you and her would be getting married. Now, Sister Isis is the one where you see in the beginning of the video. Let me throw it up real quick so you can see.
I had a fall. My last fall was in 1988. I got around a group of Moors.
That is Sister Isis. That is the one Sharif Anael Bey bring in the temple, and he swooned her from Sharif Anael Bey. Are y'all hearing all this? This is the Supreme Grand Sheik. This is the Sheikh. This is the Sheikh. You understand? This is the Sheikh. Y'all with me? This is the Sheikh. This is the Sheikh right here. All right, this is the Sheikh. Oh, we cooking. This is why the Moorish Science Temple of America need a facelift, man. You know what I mean? And we gonna give it one. In the name of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we gonna give it one. All right, that's right. We gonna do what the Prophet inspired us to do with the noble temples. Anyway, let me finish. All right. I ended the courtship. She complained about me ending the courtship to you, with Bro Matiel as my personal witness. And the very next day, you tell Bro Matiel that Sis Isis stayed overnight, and that so Sharif Anael Bey breaks up with the sister. The next night, she spends the night with Ra Saadi. And you and her would be getting married. Oh yeah, the mentally disabled sister was still there as well. Isis told her she had to leave. You then later held a secret marriage to the sister, telling Bro Matiel and others, don't tell Bro Sharif, as he might leave the temple. Secret marriage. For months after, she would send text messages. For months after, she would send me text messages, but allegedly tell you that I was sending her anonymous messages. This continued until I sent Bro Matiel the text messages she was sending me. So Isis was playing two parts in the middle. She was trying to play Sharif, but she was trying to stick with the Sheikh. Something like that. Okay, let's get it. This continued until I sent Bro Mati the text messages, and she was sending me and showing them to you. You then approached the sister and asked her why she felt she needed to continue contacting me when I have reduced him to nothing in this movement. So Ra Saadi says, why are you contacting Sharif when I have reduced him to nothing? As you put it, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the real reason I was booted out, as you put it. So now we see that Sharif was booted out the temple, but now out the cult of Ra Saadi. But now, what you need to understand is that Sharif had already sent damage and shots at Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated trying to help Ra Saadi in a case right here that Ra Saadi filed against the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated in R. Jones Bay. You feel what I'm saying? In the state of North Carolina Department of Corrections. Feel me? Because R. Jones Bay was trying to keep them out going into the in the corrections. And so guess who penned this? And this came from Sharif mouth itself. Guess who penned this lawsuit? Sharif Anael Bey. Sharif Anael Bey. But guess what? That was in 2013. I think it was 2014, if I'm not mistaken, or the same year is the year that he got booted out. Hold up. Here is. I ain't gonna read the lawsuit today, but here is part of the lawsuit right here. Let me bring it to you real quick. Here is part of the lawsuit. Whereas formed their own grand body rules and regulations. This is what Sharif wrote. So when Sharif talked that stuff to me, he wrote this in a lawsuit. Whereas they formed their own body of rules and regulations while outright banning the rule and revelations of the holy and divine prophet Noble Drew Ali. And Mr. Robert Jones Bey, the present head of the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, knew full well that these things enjoined in continuous degree of argument. Now let me stop right there. So when Sharif Anael Bey tried to argue me down about who's the real Moorish Science Temple of America, these are the arguments that he put in federal court. Yeah. Hold up. Are y'all still with me? These are the arguments that he put forth in federal court. You feel me? So when Sharif talking about and tell people that he want to debate and all of that type of stuff, I'm going to use, like, how can you win this debate when your own words condemn you? You the ones, okay, you got to change your heart? No, I still got receipts to back up even what you say, because we know it to be true. But this is Sharif. And let me tell you something. When he got booted out, all right, hold up. I got this highlighted too. As he held up a foreign entity which calls itself Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated in Washington, D.C. as a not-for-profit, a certain amount are there in other state temples. So he's throwing the ink under the bus. The same one that act like he want to debate me. How you going to debate me, bro? These are your words. How you going to debate me? These are your words. Like you said, you was a frontline soldier for Rael. You follow me? Now, let me keep it going real quick. One of the things I want to point out is, how Ra Saadi put this book together, and the controversial years. And you say in this presentation that Ra Saadi get this information from no other. The controversial years to the people giving. Hold on. Let me go back. And wait, I know you aren't trying to say that I was selling your book, Controversial Years, to people without giving you any money. The lies abound. But since you bring it up, did you ever give Bro Edwards L any money for the book, since you plagiarized the core of it from him and gave him no credit? We won't even talk about Moorish jurisprudence. Stop right there. One thing that you have to understand, when he talks about Moorish jurisprudence, right? Let me see. I want to pull it up real quick. I want to pull it up because this is how Sharif would flip-flop. This is how he would flip-flop. All right? Hold up. So, when Sharif wanted to get up into the ink, right? I'm going to show it to you real quick. When Sharif wanted to get up into the ink, let me get this slide real quick. All right, here you go. When Sharif wanted to get up into the ink, he had to, and I was there. I was there at the lecture. So this top one here is called Moorish jurisprudence, right? And in that, Sharif is teaching all of the sovereign citizen pseudo Moorish concepts, Taj Tariq Bey type concepts, if you will, right? And when Rael, Ra Saadi booted him out, took his woman, and told him he couldn't come back, Sharif Anael Bey created Ali's Men, and then, in creating Ali's Men, the objective was to enter into grand bodies, get people from all these grand bodies, and then bring the Moorish Science Temple together as one. Basically infiltrating all the groups and bringing together as one. But what happened is, when Sharif Bey joins the Inc., they force him to do this lecture. I have the whole lecture recorded. And I don't know if it's this lecture here, but hold on, let me pull it up. I get it in a second. I don't think it's that one. Hold up. They made him do a lecture to shut down anything that he ever said in the video about Moorish jurisprudence. You feel me? They made him shut it down. You see what I'm saying? And he went to Temple number 11 in Philadelphia, and he did a whole lecture talking in reverse of Moorish jurisprudence. The year later, he went through their chamber. I was at the lecture, how he denied and denounced everything he ever said. Okay, here it is right here. Here it is right here. The Temple number 11 right here. There we go, right here. I was looking for it as I was talking. I mean, this is why I'm so dangerous on this thing, man, because you be playing with me, and I know what I'm looking for. Look at this. So this is when when Rael kicked him out of the cult, and he wanted to join the next cult. Right here, Moorish Jurisprudence 4. Brother Sharif Anael Bey. And in this video, he denounced everything he ever said in order to join the Inc. in their ranks. Yeah. So all of that tough talk about debating, come on, bro. It's not like it's not like we just started observing things yesterday. You know what I mean? It's not like I just started observing things yesterday. This is how you enter into the ranks of the same people that you wrote a federal case on. Sharif Anael Bey. The same people. Now, let me go to the next one. Here is the book from R. Edwards L., Brother J. Barnes Bey, D. Eddington L., and I see you got Brother Hood Bey as research consultant, but this is what Rael plagiarized. I think it was this version. Let me see what version is this. I think it was this version he plagiarized. You follow what I'm saying? Now, let's get back to the nitty-gritty. Sharif Anael Bey says, total disrespect for the MST of A. Man. Let's see what we got here.
Call from
Big Lover Best.
Brother, you're not getting no rhetoric on here, brother. You're not getting no rhetoric on here. If you want to see me live, bro. You just talking rhetoric, bro. If you ain't gonna give me no sources, bro, I'm not talking. Nah, I need sources, bro. You ain't got no sources, we ain't got nothing to talk about. It's just a waste of my time. You're trying to distract me. Sharif says, I remember the very last call. The very last call I was on from your temple. And while listening during the reading of the proclamation warnings, the wording was off. At first, I was thinking that you were doing it from memory and just missing a few words. But when you included your own name and said that it was perfected warnings brought up to date by yourself, that's when I told Brother Monty and Sis Niger that I was finished. LOL. Soon after, Monty told me that during the reading of the law, you actually interrupted the reading to have Sis Isis leave the meeting to go buy your lottery tickets. Shake my head. That's your Moorish economic plan. We don't even have to mention your dogs running around in the meeting space during the meeting, biting people on their heels. And in fact, that staph infection that nearly killed you was actually an animal infection from the unsanitary mishandling of those dogs. Family, it's 11:45 on the East Coast. I got so much more, but let me just finish up, man. Let me just finish up. Let me see. Man, I got so much more. I think I'm going to do a part 2. I'm going to let y'all go tonight. The point that I'm making of all this is that this is not a Supreme Grand Sheik, that this is a fraudster. This is a fraudster. Last but not least, it says, defrauding the government crazy check. Finally, and simply you get an official crazy check every month. But you are shrewd enough to keep your crazy check deposited in California account. You had to fly back to California to take a special class with the bank so you could even open the account. As reminiscent of your persistent overdrawing of your former Supreme Grand Sheik account. You had so messed up your reputation with other banks. However, the reason you have the check going there instead of Atlanta is simply because California pays more money than Georgia. Morally and legally, that's called fraud. The prophet said the servant is worthy of his hire, and best believe the state of California will soon and finally be made so worthy. We don't need to mention the disability workers' compensation checks and gangsterer collect from some of your members. Actually, we can't fault you so much for that as we must fault them for having no spine. At any rate, and sadly, any person that knowingly follows a man that gets a crazy check also needs to get a crazy check. Well, I won't say that because I know some people gets a crazy check, but they not crazy at all. But this man is crazy as a dingbat. Good goodness gracious. I mean, this man is crazy as a dingbat. Family, I can go on and on, but I think I made my point. I mean, some say, he said go on. Go some more. Let me go some more. Let me go some more for my big brother, Saladin Bey. Let me go some more real quick. Now listen. One thing I don't want to point out is the man say some crazy stuff, right? All right, look here. Truth Matters is the only nonprofit in Georgia. There is no MST of A 1928 in Georgia, nor is it one in California, nor is it one in Chicago. All right? Now, with that being said, on his website, this is what this crazy man says on his website. He says, a brief historical count of the Moorish Science Temple of America original factions. Now he double talk. He calls Kirkman Bey an original faction. And he might be true in the sense of the term faction. But listen to what he says. Bro Kirkman Bey was the janitor of the temple during the time of the prophet Drew Ali. He was asked by the prophet to be his interpreter for the 6th annual Pan-African Conference on a private international law in Cuba. Now, I don't know where he got the private international law in Cuba. Sound like he's inflating something. But anyway, he loves to do that. As he was then given the title effect as language secretary. You cannot find Kirkman Bey called language secretary. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe I didn't see that paperwork. But I've never seen in 30 years some paperwork calling Kirkman Bey the language secretary, whatever that is. But on MST of A 1928 website, this is what they say. Bro Kirkman Bey was never made a sheik or given any official position by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. However, was made an adat due to him being placed within the affairs of Prophet due to his visit to Cuba. Now, when people say things like this, how do you say that and don't produce nothing? He's saying Kirkman Bey was made an adapt where? When? How? And we don't see him around any adapts during the time of the Prophet. We have that one story and that one writing from Emilio. Anyway, Kirkman Bey, after a few years after the death of Prophet Drew Ali, created his own branch. Now, in this website title, I think I got it, he says that this is one of the legitimate temples. Let me see if I got it. I think I got it. He calls Kirkman Bey one of the legitimate temples. Yeah, here it is right here. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. I forgot to share that with you. This is what he says. Anyone who claims to be a Moorish American must be able to trace themselves through a lineage of their present national Grand Sheik and temple. Presently, we have placed before you a list of legal, legitimate, recognized Moorish Science Temple of America, along with a very brief historical overview. He claims that Kirkman Bey is a legitimate temple. This is what he said. This man crazy as a bedbug. He says, Kirkman Bey, after a few years after the death of Prophet Drew Ali, created his own branch of the Moorish. How that's a legitimate temple? After the death of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, no, he wasn't a sheik. I know he wasn't an adat, but he wasn't a sheik. He wasn't a divine minister. Nobody gave him a charge. What are you talking about, Rael? Anyway, back in 1934, which came under a different set of rules and regulations separate from the Prophet Drew Ali. How is that a legitimate temple if they got separate rules and regulations from the Prophet Drew Ali already previously established? Presently, the national leader of the branch is R. Jones Bey, who is headquartered in Washington, D.C. They were considered having the largest groups of Moors, as over the years, due to great division and ill moral acts within their body, many have resigned their membership. I don't know how true that is, and that they declined. The point that I'm making is, how is this a legitimate group if they created their own rules and regulation, if they created their own system of doing things in the name of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but it's not associated with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? How do we do that? Then he talks about Gibbons-Hill. This is also, he says, a legitimate temple. Bro Gibbons-Hill was the Prophet Ali's chauffeur. Bro John Gibbons-Hill spent much time with the Prophet, long drive across the country as the Prophet did, travel regularly. This is a lie too. I actually know who the chauffeurs were for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and John Gibbons-Hill name don't pop up on it. I think that's an old wives' tale. They made that stuff up too. Whoever made up the John Gibbons-Hill story, y'all need to show some documents, because I got documentations of the Prophet's chauffeur and their name. Don't play with me. Anyway, but here we go. Regularly in establishing and checking up on temples across the country. Bro John Gibbons-Hill was never made a sheik. He, however, was made an adat by the Prophet. How is it that everyone is made an adat, but no one is made a sheik? But it takes a sheik in order to establish a temple, because a sheik is a trustee of a temple. I mean, and when I say establish a temple, I'm not talking about anybody can open up a Moorish Science Temple of America. But to be a part of a grand body and to be an officiating officer, you would have to be a sheik, a trustee. You know what I'm saying? In order to move forward in officiating a temple in the form of a full-blown grand body. Anybody can start a temple. Anybody can be an acting Grand Sheik. Anybody can be an acting chairman or something like that as you're working towards to develop a temple. But at some point, you have to be a sheik, because a sheik is a trustee, as written on the back of the your questionnaire. So that doesn't even make sense. They just make this stuff on as they go along. You know what I mean? They just make this stuff as they go along, man. It's crazy to me. Hold up. Then he say Braswell Bay is a legitimate temple. He said Braswell Bay is a legitimate temple. Braswell Bay is recognized as the Moorish Science Temple of America de facto. They changed from the status in which the Prophet Noble Drew Ali placed the temple and followed suit with the rest that was out of law in placing the Moorish Science Temple of America in status of Inc. This guy don't know what he's talking about. The Moorish Science Temple of America was always an Inc. Even during the time of the Prophet, it was a corporation. So we just call MST of A Inc. the Inc. as a nickname. But the Moorish Science Temple of America has always been incorporated. I mean, Is that true? C. Kirkman Bey was a member of the Supreme Grand Council? No, he was never a member of the Supreme Grand Council. Nope, never. With that being said, incorporated 501c3 as willfully contribute to the removal of Prophet Drew Ali's supreme body. How can that be a legitimate temple if he's saying that Braswell Bey removes the supreme grand body? This is what I'm talking about. And then the last legitimate temple he has, of course, he has himself. Shaykh Ra Saadi is the 5th Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, representing the original Supreme Grand Body of 1928. No, you're not. Established by Prophet Noble Drew Ali as de jure. No, you're not. In law, with its satellite headquarters in the state of Georgia. Shaykh Ra Saadi appointment took place in October 2010. Now we have another appointment. Family, press 7. How many appointments did we have? Family, how many appointments did we have so far? I lost count. We have 88. We have P. Davis L. We have the crack venture. We have P. Davis L. We have fake minister papers. We have fake warrant of authorities. We have Braswell Bey. And now 2010. Are y'all still with me? I'm going to be done in 4 minutes, man. Are y'all still with me? Y'all see how ridiculous this is? Y'all see how ridiculous this is? Make this make sense. Make that make sense. Anyway. That's insane to me. Let's get it. That's insane to me that people would even follow this stuff. R. Jones Bey is the president national leader of the Temple of Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc., which is headquartered. He said that's a legitimate temple. A few things you know when seeking the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Grand Sheik of a legitimate temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America must be able to trace themselves back to succession to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali appointment of Supreme Grand Sheik email here. Bro, he just said 3 different things. Now, to legitimize you, you first must be able to trace themselves through a line of succession, starting with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali first appointment of Supreme Grand Sheik email to their present national head. This should have correct documentation, so show each succession. Family, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Family, I'm going to drop that right there. And we just going to have to do a part 2 and make it get a little bit more dirty. I mean, we just going to have to do part 2. Family, if you enjoy this, please share this. And again, don't forget that I will be putting my book out. It will be dropping in about 3 weeks. I hope I got your support. It's called Moor Don't Mean Black. You can find it at fairsdivine.com. Let me pull it up real quick so you can get it. You can go check it out. Read what it is. fairsdivine.com. Support that family. And we have plenty more books on the way. You know what I mean? All of it is researched, well researched. These type of books that I'm putting out, you'll be able to take these books to colleges. You'll be able to take these books to debates, and I'm talking about healthy debates. I'm not talking about raggedy Sinetta style debates. I'm talking about healthy debates where we compare information and we move on what makes sense. That's what I'm talking about. So whenever I say let's debate, don't ever say that I'm beefing with nobody. Don't ever do that, because I'm not beefing with nobody. I want to make sure that we are doing this the right way. And if someone said that it's wrong, then you're gonna have to bring your stuff to the table. But don't come like brother Glover L. Don't come like what's the brother Chris. Don't come like him, because he's talking about something. I'm just saying, show me the proof. Where can we, like, if you're saying that is not representation of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the document I showed, then show me where the filing for the Moorish Science Temple of America, because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was filed legitimately, and he gonna direct me to the back of the questionnaire. That's just pseudo. That's just pseudo. This is my Cash App. Anybody wish to support, thank you again. And if you wish to join the Moorish Science Temple of America, you can message me for your support. If you wish to join the Moorish Science Temple of America, you can message me, or you can send an email to joinnobletemples@gmail.com. Somebody will reach out to you. It might take a few days, but we're reworking our system right now. Let me see. Let me put it up in there. Join Noble Temples. At gmail.com. Make sure I got it right. All right, yeah, I think I got it right. There we go. Yeah, come on. We wait part 2, but 1 was enough to open the eyes of many. Great lecture and keep it. The thing is, Naeem, I try my best to walk up to the line and not cross it. I don't want to be dirty with it, but with this guy, you might have to get dirty sometimes. But, you just got to be able to get the mud off you, too. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I do my best just to make a teaching lesson at the same time. You know what I mean? Never, never die. Yes, family. What up, Manifest Marvin?
Down no more.
Hey!
They just slow-mo. Down no more. They just slow-mo.
Yeah.
Down no more.
What y'all know about this?
They just slow-mo.
What y'all know about this?
Down no more. They just slow-mo. They just slow-mo.
See, I be coming at these Moors, and it's very simple. Why I be coming at these Moors? Because I don't consider these functional Moorish American Muslims as it relates to the teachings of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of
Now
America.
some lanes from across the border, you and your daughters, I mean your little followers, you all out of order. I ain't taking nada, nothing from you crooks. Cujo, Tards, Sabir, I got them all shook. I wish Cujo would step up to get his rep up and get hit up from the neck up. You gon' respect us. An elder once told me, meet the people where they at, and you lower than the worm, so you know you meet the tech. Let's keep it simple, more. I'm a temple more. Either you wanna talk knowledge or you wanna go to war. Cujo, I will drag you by your dreads till you beg. Detach your arm, leg, arm, head. Boy, you don't want these problems. I know the low well. The policy enforcers be the same ones you go tell. Now go and call them little lanes. Get on YouTube, let them little games talk tough like you bout that. And I'ma forget how far I came. I never forgot my aim. I never forgot my ammo. I pray to Allah, but I still tie my camel. Let's talk about this knowledge that you think you have. Matter of fact, forget it, boy. Don't make me laugh.
Hey!
Down no more.
Down no more.
They just slow-mo. Down no more. They just slow-mo. They gon' learn today. But they gon' learn today. That's right. But they gon' learn today.
Islam, Naeem.
So now what you gotta say, huh? I broke the rules cause I'm a sheik and a Muslim and I'm talking about tools. Boy, you know the lessons. The tools are to refine and mine are inclined to workshop on your mind. You know about the hammer, make it a part of every part. And I wanna meet Allah, so I'm aiming at your heart. You on at 720, I'm on a 12 step, I'm at the pinnacle of wisdom. So miss me with the threats, mean mugging and cussing, boy, it don't mean nothing. Not going out like Malcolm, I'm going out busting. But I prefer discussion, authentic Moorish science. Taj Sharif Bey, you know he's straight lying. Associating scams with the holy divine. Must have lost his mind, but I'm just as ain't blind. And it's about to catch you at any given moment. You looking at the throne, boy, can't you see I'm on it, huh? Can't you see I'm on it? You looking at the throne, boy. Can't you see I'm on it? Can't you see I'm on it? You looking at the throne, boy. Can't you see I'm on it? Huh? You looking at the throne, boy. Can't you see I'm on it? Can't you see I'm on it? You looking at the throne, boy. Can't you see I'm on it? Can't you see I'm on it? You looking at the throne, boy. Can't you see I'm on it? Can't you see I'm on it? You looking at the throne, boy. Can't you see I'm on it?
6 million ways to die. Choose one.
Taj Tariq got y'all thinking that he great. He teach law and civics, but never be the case. I never seen him in court approaching the bench. But people who follow him, they do this nonsense. He teach a right to travel. I never seen him whipping. He pointing the way, but doing something different. And y'all been hustled and scared to admit it. I'll be begging paid in fiat and call it fictitious. Y'all ridiculous, falling for the pseudo. The right to travel ain't even worth a cujo. All up in Canada, quoting U.S. law. Deaf, dumb, and blind, boy, you just lost. Down no more. They just slow-mo. Down no more.
Support reach.
They just slow-mo.
See, I be coming at these Moors, and it's very simple. Why I be coming at these Moors? Because I don't consider these functional Moorish American Muslims as it relates to the teachings of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the